Greetings, viewers, and welcome to yet another Slacker Symposium. I'm the J. Crows, and after a brief respite, I'm back today to reclaim my title as most likely to usurp control of this channel, evidence of which you'll see later in today's program. I also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge, as tabulated through a highly scientific process, as the fourth most popular character on this channel, barely edging out Jar Rocks and Spoon for that distinction. You, the viewers, expect us to show up for work. I vow today, here in Closet Studios, surrounded by thousands of dollars in Run Disney medals, enough Star Wars canon print to be marginally embarrassing. Shout out Billy.
Marginally.
And merchandise from a band most people in the world have never heard of. I vow to you to show up to work. Can I get an amen from the Fab Five?
Amen.
Amen. Wait, Heather's not here.
We really need HJ to be the full Fab Five.
I deserve that. So, whether my long and distinct career in healthcare is crumbling all around me, or I'm accruing enough Disney debt at a rate most financial advisors would advise against, I vow to show up, except when I don't. Hence my absence from Not Star Wars Weekend, which is truly the Slacker way. But enough about me. Let's get to the rest of the cast of characters. The power couple behind this behemoth of Run Disney influencing, Linz and Spoon, one the decidedly most popular Slacker, and the other not so much.
Look, I am.
Next, we have the talented and sophisticated Jez D, aka the sibling.
Top of the morning.
And to round out what I thought was the Fab Five, M to the Kelsey, the Slacker who doesn't slack unless she's around the bad influence of the other four.
Cheers.
We have a very special guest with us today, all the way from 7 time zones away. He recently completed the Queen's English Lutterworth Run and the slightly more popular Classy Sashay, all in preparation for the Boston Marathon, but more on that later. If you do not already subscribe to Jogger Vlogger on YouTube, I want you to take a few minutes to go ahead and do that right now. Right click, open up a new tab. We'll give you about 30 seconds and we'll be back. We'll wait. So go subscribe to Jogger Vlogger right now.
That is some amazing flag waving right there. I'd like to point out.
Oh,
That's an incredible flag. Yeah. Beautiful.
That's good.
Okay.
be clear to
Hey,
work.
did you guys hear about Adam Holt finishing the most scenic half marathon in the U.S.?
Saw that.
No.
Somewhere in
It didn't come
Kentucky.
around here though, so.
God, that guy's beard is amazing. Wonder how he feels about my mustache. All right, that's been 30 seconds. 30 seconds is up. We're glad you're back. I want to have a big Slacker welcome to Alistair, our newest friend from the UK. We're glad you're here.
Thank you for having me. It's been fantastic to join you.
And Alistair, can you introduce the youth representative of Slacker Nation, Slacker International, next to you?
Yeah, it'd be my pleasure too. So, and also the whole reason I got into running as well. This is the wee one, my son, Matthew.
Yay! Hurrah!
And he's my Disney influence as well.
Yes.
Matthew,
I'm sure it goes both ways.
we are honored that you're here, sir.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me. Like I say, after watching you guys for so long, it's great to be on the channel.
Wanted to start today's symposium by talking about reintroduction to running with groups and races. I know a lot of us, present company excluded, have been running quite a bit, but we are starting to hear tricklings of being able to get back to live races. And so I wanted to kick things off today by asking Alistair what his hopes are for his next race. I know the UK is still on lockdown from things like that, but
yeah, so you're right. We are still in lockdown here. The restrictions lift a little bit on Monday, but still not any big groups. The maximum we can go out with is 6. So even a lot of the running clubs have decided not to meet yet until the restrictions lower a little bit more. So we haven't had any races in the UK for well over a year now. But we've got a roadmap set out by our Prime Minister. And basically, a lot of places are starting to try and gear up for the end of May, beginning of June. So my next race is a half marathon. It's the Boston Half Marathon. And before you all go crazy thinking, wow, he must have some serious running skills to be able to qualify for Boston, not Boston, Massachusetts. It's in a county called Lincolnshire. On Google Maps to find it. But I selected this race specifically as a proof of time for Disney a few years back. Sadly, I couldn't do Run Disney because, of course, we can't fly this year. This was meant to be the year that I'd done my Dopey Challenge I was hoping to take part in. But I specifically picked Boston as my half marathon proof of time because it is officially the UK's flattest half marathon. You don't get an elevation of more than 7 meters throughout the entire course. So I went in there with logic. I thought if it's flat, it can't be too hard. And so that hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm hoping for a sub 145.
woo, get it. That's smoking.
You're fast.
Well, I don't know how good that puts me in the corrals. I don't know how that kind of all works. So I was hoping to get an A. I'll take an A. I'll take
Holy cow, that's speedy.
Well, I'm thinking I've got to be near the front because the Florida heat is just going to make me wilt. But one thing I cannot practice over here is heat running because it's pretty much cold all year round apart from about 3 days. Otherwise, it's just rain and wind and we can't do that. So I want to be out near the front, get the first 5-10 miles in, and then I'm just going to walk it. That's me done. That's all I can do for Florida heat, I'm afraid.
Beautiful. 5-10 miles. Alistair, I noticed that in your last video where you taught us a lot of really helpful phrases from the mother country, without Russia, I don't know. Anyway, your last vlog, I really appreciated and pointed this out to Jaras and Spoon that you were filming and running a majority of the time and you were not out of breath like I often am when I'm running and trying to talk. And I was like, he's like a real runner because that was hard work. You did so good.
No, I think you call that clever editing, to be honest. That's, I must have dubbed that down really low. So I sound like a steam train that's just completely knackered and ready for the scrap heap, to be fair. So I'm glad that didn't come across. I'm glad I sounded like I knew what I was doing.
That's what Jared and Justin sounded like yesterday.
Exactly.
It's a little bit of a train.
Yeah.
Like the little engine.
we were taking a walking break. And MK turns around and is like, you guys okay? we were dressed. We had more clothes on than normal going for a run.
I'm thinking that the slackers probably need to pack up and run that Boston race as well, because I'm thinking with the cooler temperatures that you experience there and the flat
course.
We don't do hills. We don't like hills. There are not hills.
Same here.
Yeah. Boom, terrain.
So that sounds perfect, honestly.
Should that be the first international slacker experience?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yo, I'm confident I would find some other excuse why I should stop running.
I mean, I as well, but
to film.
Once I run it, I'll let you know the excuse that I find for failing to get my time that I wanted, and then we'll work on excuses from there.
Yeah. There was one day, like there was literally a donut shop on the side of the road. I almost stopped and got it. I was going
it's
for
a good donut shop.
Yeah. Hurts donuts.
There's nothing wrong with your fueling, by the way. I've literally taken to heart every bit of fueling advice you've given, because we love our donuts now, don't we? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're all about the donuts.
Matthew, are you a donut fan now?
You like donuts as well?
Kind of.
Kind of. He's coming round to it.
Do you prefer, is there another baked good you like better than donuts?
What do you like eating most? Chocolate?
A scone?
Biscuits?
What do you think? Chocolate biscuits. Chocolate biscuits is the way to go.
Biscuits are pretty good.
Good answer.
You like an Oreo biscuit.
Translation
Or
is that.
Oreo biscuits.
Ooh, that's
Okay, so
it's a
biscuit
cookie,
means
guys.
cookie. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, cookie. Sorry. Yeah, I'll try and remember.
This is a good, like, we're learning from each other.
Wow.
This is like world peace in action.
How about this? This is a scone. Is it still a scone over there?
It is a scone, although it's actually highly debated over here. I say scone because it has an E on the end, which would be correct. But if you go to a lot of England, they call it a scone, even though they spell it with an E on the end.
I've heard of that debate. I watched a lot of Great British Bake Off because I enjoy the baking. So I know what a biscuit is.
Yeah, very good.
Well, thank you. I'll be needing you throughout this symposium then, please, to translate for us.
Thanks. I'll try my best. As long as it has to deal with baked goods, meat inside, I can do that.
Have you had a go at baking of any of the stuff you've seen on the show?
I don't think I could do it. It's hard. They make hard things. They don't make regular cakes. They make extravagant things that take hours, and you have to sit and watch the oven a lot.
Well,
Yeah, same here. We've got a packet mix that we buy from the supermarket. We just tip it out, give it a whirl, and that's our effort.
Yes,
beautiful.
absolutely.
Well, I'm on board for making a trip across the pond for the next Boston Marathon. Unlike Alistair, I don't think I would ever tell anyone that it was not the one in Massachusetts unless they specifically inquired.
Shame.
I wanted to pivot just a little bit back to the classy Sashay submission from Alistair, Jogger Vlogger. All of you already subscribed, but if you didn't, you need to go do it right now. There was a donut stand in that video that was advertising other types of foods, and all of us noticed it when we watched it. And that was one of the first questions we had when we connected with our new friend. And that is, what is a dummy stick?
A dummy stick, you might call them pacifiers, something like a baby would suck on to keep them quiet or help them go sleep. But it's literally a giant pacifier, and it is rock hard sugar, rock hard candy. And basically it takes a good 20-25 hours to try and suck that thing down to nothing. And all it's pretty good for is a massive sugar spike, a huge sugar crash, and pretty much rotting your insides. But you know what? They're a fantastic choice amongst the youth. But for me, I can't do things like that anymore. They just make me crash.
What do you think it would be like if you brought one of those on a race for fuel? Like, is it like, would it fuel you through the miles, do you think?
I think it would probably give you a little bit of energy for about maybe 20, 30 steps. And then all of a sudden you'll realize, nope, I am just still completely knackered, and I'm going to need at least 10 of these dummy sticks to get me through the last mile. I mean, I've seen in one of the previous videos, Jared gets a candy cotton during his marathon run. I think it was one of the dopey challenges. And I'm thinking, you know, there's a lot of sugar involved in there, but I bet you any money that dummy stick still got twice as much sugar as you got in there. And yeah, I wouldn't go near those things now. I'd just crash and burn.
Do you spell it D-U-M-M-Y?
Yeah, that's right.
Cannot find it on Amazon.
What?
I will promise you that market store only comes around once every 3 weeks in our town, because, like I said in my video, we're about this big, so they don't really come around that often. But I will promise you now, when I do my dopey weekend, and I am still going to do it, hopefully when all this COVID business goes away, I will buy each and every single one of you slackers a dummy stick over with me as my treat across the pond to you guys. I will quite happily bring you one each.
Oh my goodness. I solemnly declare to you that if you do that, I will run my Dopey 5K with it.
Yeah, we all will.
Totally.
Yes.
That sounds like a requirement.
Even if I bleh at the end, but
Yeah.
Oh, you said 25
I mean,
hours.
I still won't be in one.
yeah.
25 hours, that'll last me the whole Dopey.
The whole weekend.
I need someone to hold the camera for me.
Is that how, would it last?
There'll be a lot of crashing out amongst the slackers then.
Well, that's amazing, Alistair. That's not what I expected a dummy stick to be, but now that I know, I'm very much looking forward to January 2022 when I get to enjoy one with you and the rest of the team. You also referenced Jar Oxen Spoon.
Sorry, what did you think was a dummy stick?
I was thinking it was like maybe like a long donut of sorts.
I was thinking like a corn dog or something like that. I don't know why.
Donut on a stick. I don't know.
See, we don't have corn dogs over here.
Oh.
I know, right? This is what?
Why?
Honestly, I have no idea. I really don't.
Have you ever had like a breakfast corn dog where it's like breakfast sausage with a pancake around it?
We do have, we have breakfast sausage like at McDonald's and things like that. And a big shout out, by the way, to Jay Crow, because I actually tried putting green peppers in my one after seeing your video. And yes, well done, sir. That was a truly phenomenal suggestion. I am well on board with that.
It's good.
Well, everything's better with green chilies. You learn that pretty soon after moving to Texas. So I'm glad I can impart that wisdom on you.
Can I ask a follow-up question now that we've had the corn dog revelation of 2021?
Please.
Alistair, what food are you appalled that we don't have here that you have in love with?
I'm not sure, because you guys have such a array of food compared to what we have over here. We're still quite, I mean, do you guys do roast dinners?
Not the way.
Well, we have like a roast chicken or roast beef. It's traditional on a Sunday that we have like roast potatoes, bit of beef or lamb or something like that, bit of vegetables. And some people even top it with gravy. Not me personally. I think that just ruins the whole thing. But yeah, whenever I come over to America, I've yet to find anywhere that does a roast dinner. So
Cracker Barrel.
on a Sunday, I'm kind of lost.
We do pot roast around here. Beef roast.
But we don't have Yorkshire pudding.
No.
I have tried to make that at home and it's just not, I haven't mastered it.
Bread with the,
Yeah.
We don't have that. We don't have a lot of things that you have there that are delightful.
Bacon buddies, we don't have that.
What is that?
Well, I have been caught out.
What?
No, sorry. I was going to say I've been caught out a few times when I've gone over to you guys, because I've asked for chips before, and they give me like a packet of crisps, what we call crisps. And I went over there thinking, I get a nice big plate of chips, which are just fried potatoes, basically. And I was quite disappointed.
I would be real disappointed if I ordered fries and got the little poultry bag of Lay's, so I understand.
But yeah, you guys need to invest in roast dinners. It's the way forward.
Duly noted.
Have you cooked?
Yes, probably.
Okay, we have two of them.
Potatoes.
A related note, we do have a new restaurant here in the storybook capital of America called Grain Theory. It's a microbrewery who specializes in fish and chips. I had lunch there last week. It was quite good. Recommend all you Abilenians head that direction. Support a local place doing local things for local people. All right. As promised, my opportunity to usurp the channel.
Did you hear what the king just said, J. Crow?
No.
Yes, I missed your call.
It was a lunch meeting. Alistair, do you feel the tension in the Zoom today?
Yeah. I didn't sign up for that.
I apologize to our guest. We don't normally have this type of back and forth. I made the mistake of letting my career that is currently on fire take precedent over a symposium, and these are the repercussions apparently. So, well, true. Alistair, would you, knowing that we don't get our feelings hurt too bad, some of us get their feelings hurt when another person doesn't show up one time. Would you give us your thoughts and critique on Muppets Go to Agrabah, knowing that we can handle the criticism, but we'd really love to hear your thoughts on our performance.
Link above.
Yeah, me and my son both loved it. We're big Muppets fans anyway, but to see it read and so well as well by so many, we can't wait for the next one. So bring on A Christmas Carol.
I'm in. I'm totally in.
Christmas in July.
Can I play Scrooge? I've got the evil British accent for it.
Yes!
Yeah, you might have to wake up in the middle of the night, but yes.
Yes.
That's fine. I can do 3 a.m. in the morning, not a problem.
Alistair, do you like singing?
I like it. People don't like me doing it. But I don't mind.
The question was if you like it. So
yeah, I'll give it a go. Never a problem.
The King will send you the score probably shortly, and you'll be ready for maybe a 3-hour solo, I'm guessing.
Yeah, 3-hour solo.
Just don't ask me to sing in a particular key because I've got no idea what. No, I'm just terrible.
The key of your heart.
I will say, Alistair, you may not know this, but particularly the siblings and Linz Reed are quite accomplished singers and musicians. So I know when all of us are together, we burst into song quite often. And by all of us, I mean everyone but MK. And here's how it goes when they let me pick the key and then they harmonize around that because they'll know I'll never hit the correct key. So I'll usually lead off and then they'll chime in to whatever key I've chosen offhandedly. Is that about right, guys?
Can we have a demonstration, J. Crow?
Yes. Alistair.
Slacker Symposium!
Very nice. Very nice. So viewers, if you ever wanted an inside look at what goes on Slacker Nation, particularly when we're together at the WDW, you just saw it in song form. That was the amount of joy that we bring to each other.
Can I set that as my new ringtone, please?
Yes, we will record that and send that on to you. There is a royalty fee to be paid to the Slacker channel, but it's nominal, I assure you.
I know you don't make money on this channel.
It's true. It's true. It's our effort to dig ourselves out of holes.
Can I ask Alistair more questions?
That's why we have him here.
Please.
Okay. Alistair, can you tell us a little bit about your Disney origin story and like when you started going to Disney, when the passion for Disney developed, and then what your favorite thing is about Disney and going to the parks in general? Three-part question. I'm a complex person. I have.
I'll try and remember. So I think when I first went there, I was about 12. So we only went for a week. Most people from the UK normally go for 2 to 3 weeks because obviously it's such a long flight. They want to try and make good use of it. But we could only afford to go for a week at a time. And ever since that day, I've just been hooked because I've got to be honest, before I went, I wasn't particularly looking forward to it because my knowledge as a 12-year-old, by the way, we're talking about here, of America was not all that great at the time. In fact, my only 2 memories of America before then, I'm afraid, both involve your state. Waco is probably the biggest thing that the UK knows about Texas, in all honesty. And the second thing, throughout my childhood, my mother would insist on watching Dallas. So once a week, J.R. Ewing, Bobby Ewing, and all people like that was just on our TV. So I was kind of in two minds whether or not I really wanted to go America and see Disney. I wasn't sure. But then, of course, as a 12-year-old kid, you get over there, you see Mickey Mouse, and that was it. Ever since then, I've just wanted to go as many times. We try and go once every other year. So, because obviously it's quite an expense to come over from the UK. But the thing that keeps me going now is obviously my son. He's just into it like we are as well. We love all the new characters and the new films. We've just got Soul over here. We sat down and watched that the other night. That was a really nice movie. We really enjoyed that. And really, I think it's just great to see his childhood growing up, seeing Disney almost like how I was as a child. So it's me almost reliving my youth through him, I suppose. So I can take him on some of my favourite rides from my childhood, because things like Space Mountain was there when I was a child, so he can now go on it. Although actually he can't at the moment because he's too small, but hopefully he can go on it. But we're also trying new rides like Slinky Dog.
Okay, I have another follow-up question. J. Crow, can I keep going? You can
Yes,
tell me.
please. Aloud.
In one of your vlogs, you alluded to something about meeting your wife through Disney, right? Did you say something about that?
Well, that's actually where we didn't first meet there. That was our first holiday that we took together before we were husband and wife. We met through our workplace at the time. I've since moved jobs and she's finished to stay-at-home mum. But our first holiday together, I said, come on, I've got to show you Disney. She had never been, and I think she was 25, I think it was, her first experience of Disney, and that was it. She was in love with it as well, so that's why we've gone every other year since.
Way to go. That's awesome. Okay, thank you. See, I've watched your video about 17 times, so I can probably quote it.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't know if it's all that altruistic. It was about us. I don't know what that says about me. Anyway, thank you.
You just hit the nail on the head, Lynn.
Did you have to watch it that many times to understand my English accent, though? Is that why it was 17 times?
No, I first read your email, it was maybe like 8 in the morning. So we're all at work, and I start watching it, put it on in the background, and then I text everyone. I think after
You went to my office in the middle of you watching it.
And then Justin was on the phone too. I was like, yeah, I'm about to send you something that might be the best thing you watch all week. And then I sent it to everyone, and then we're just like sharing responses throughout the day as we are all watching in segments. So
we were all very, very touched. And
well, thank you, and thank you for the classic Sashay, because it really, me in particular, I've watched a lot of your videos, but I know my son likes to join in and watch as well, because we just think you guys, you're all just having such a great time together when you're out there running. Too many people over here take it too seriously. They all think they want to be the next big runner, and they all want to do sub 130 half marathons. And I'm not in for that. I like to, go out and just have a bit of fun especially with my son. I'm trying to get him into running. So when I had the opportunity to do a little video like the classic Sashay, I told him we could be like the slackers, just 4,500 miles away. He just got his shoes and he went straight to the front door, and that was it. We were away. So thank you, guys.
Oh, maybe that's what I need to do to convince my son to start running as well. Just say you too can be a slacker.
Yeah, maybe he'll do it.
Maybe he'll do it. I'll just tell him that there's another slacker just like him across the pond.
There you go.
Run together. It could be slacker pin.
Oh, how old is the wee little slacker?
He's 7 now.
That would work. Mine is 6.
Yeah, well, I bet they'd love to run together.
They probably would. Does Matthew like Legos?
Does he like Lego? Bear with me 1 minute whilst I just... I'm fetching that.
You had some in arm's reach.
Our house is basically built of Lego, by the way.
Mine too.
That's epic.
Yeah. Does it hurt you just as much when you step on a piece that you did not see? I think I've just about picked up everything. I turn around, blind eye to it, step on it, and that's it. I'm hitting the ceiling because it hurts like I've not felt pain like that before.
Little sidebar, viewers, don't be training for slackers. The Lego walk, link above.
Welcome to the channel. That was one of the last ones you were in alone, right? Oh no, Jez is in that one.
We were at Legoland.
I don't think I've watched that one.
We were at Legoland in Florida. So next time you go to the WDW, build in some extra time to drive down to Legoland. It's pretty fun if you haven't done that.
We've got Legoland over here as well. So,
Oh, that's what? Where's Legoland over there?
it won't be as good as you guys. Our theme parks are generally about that big compared to yours. But yeah, Legoland, it's about 50 minutes south of London.
Oh, okay. Oh, I know about the Denmark one, but that's awesome.
The Denmark one's gotta be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, when you come over to our Legoland as well, come up to the storybook capital of the UK, Lutterworth, and I'll give you a dummy stick.
And maybe we'll run through Lutterworth, all of us with our cameras, and they will also think we're strange because people do think
definitely. You won't believe the amount of people that can stop and stare at a bloke wearing Disney ears with a GoPro round Lutterworth.
We actually do know what that's like. We're very familiar with those.
The greatest single thing that I found on my last America trip, and I didn't know this until we went a couple of years ago, drive-through Dinky Donuts. I had no idea you could have. We've got to get out our cars to go and get donuts, and we don't really have many donut stores over here. They're not that popular at the moment, to be fair. They're starting to come over. But yeah, when I found out that you don't even have to get out your car now for donuts, I'm sold. I'm there.
It's a beautiful thing.
I guess something that happened yesterday, the slackers were coming here, and I needed to pick up something at a donut shop. So I drove to one, and it was way too crowded. So I just drove down the street to another one and got there.
And both of them have drive-thrus.
Yes.
I've got to move. I've got to move.
Yay! It's a donut-friendly culture here.
So, how long have you guys been doing Run Disney?
I think you started first.
2016, I started. And then
And what was your first race, Linz?
it was the Disneyland 10K. So
The West Coast Disney.
the West Coast. So yeah, that's when I lived in California. So flew down there, did the Disneyland 10K. These guys
Disneyland 5K was my first one.
in 2017.
2017.
Then I did the 10K that same year.
And then the J Crow jumped on the bandwagon at Wine and Dine
2017.
2017. And then MK, your first one was 2018, right?
Star Wars Rival Run Weekend 2018.
I haven't done one
19.
since 2017.
19?
19.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I watched y'all's video.
Aw.
And then Justin said, you can totally do this. And I'm like, well, if they can do it, then I'll give it a go.
Of course.
And so now all my Disney debt is because of them.
You're welcome.
But I didn't know these guys, even though we were running all the same races for all those years. I didn't know them until the end of 2019 when I saw this YouTube channel and thought, J Crow and Jarvis and Spoon are funny. Jarvis and Spoon is really cute. I want to know them.
Our first client.
I was going to say, I can agree on the funny part. I'm not sure about the cute part. I'll get the funny part.
So yeah, we've been in the Run Disney universe for quite some time.
So you have not run any Run Disney races yet, correct?
No, not yet. Like I say, the plan was to run this year, 2021. I was going to do the whole dopey, just come over and do all 4 whilst I was over there. But I'm hoping 2022, but nobody's announced anything yet. I know I keep looking at Run Disney, hoping that they'll make some announcement. But I'm hoping after they've done that virtual event that they might start thinking about making some kind of announcement. I mean, I don't really know how you guys are doing with your vaccines over there. We're doing quite well. We've reached about half the population now, so I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed that we might be able to get over, but realistically, I think it's going to be 2023 before I get over there now.
Okay. Well, it will be a joy to be there when you eventually come over for the first Run Disney event. I imagine there will be slacker tears both on the outside and the inside, depending on how we all process emotions. And there will be many thoughts and feelings. And so I cannot wait to toast Dummy Stick to your achievement.
And on a related note, okay, dopey, whenever, hopefully 2022. Where are we eating dinner?
Oh,
Or are we taking
Rainforest Cafe. Gotta be Rainforest Cafe.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
I can tell you now, of all my planning, the first thing I planned for when I got over there was I planned to land the day before the expo. Now, we will land mid-afternoon after the flight. The first place I'm going to after my hotel is the Rainforest Cafe.
I think we gotta go.
Where do you want to eat the day of the expo for dinner before the 5K?
Rainforest Cafe. Keep asking.
He wants you at a Rainforest Cafe.
What about Leo? Would you like to eat there with us?
Do you know what? I've been away since and actually found out what Haleo's serve. I'm not sure it's quite what I've had before, but I'd be willing to give it a go. I've just bringing that back, actually. The last video that I've seen of yours, the Couch to 5 queso.
Yes.
I have no idea what queso is. Can you please enlighten me?
Queso is Spanish for cheese. And in these parts, it's liquidy cheese, like melty, warm. You usually have some green chilies, maybe some pimentos, and you dip your chips in it. / put it all over your chips.
Dip your
Or
wrists.
crisps. Well, you could dip your chips too.
Yeah.
Tortilla.
Dip
Thank
in
you for that correction, MK, by the way. Thank you for that.
So he was fueling on melty cheese, just straight up melted cheese, essentially, with a few other accoutrements.
Well, I'm well up for trying anything that's got melted cheese in it. So, I'm on board for trying anything like that. So,
What about
Does have a really good
grilled?
grilled cheese there too, in case anything else looks really too adventurous for you.
well, if you guys would be kind enough to extend the welcome for me to join you for a meal, then I would very much be very grateful to join you.
Yes.
We've got some delicacies that you might want to try. Have you ever had let's have a think. Black pudding?
I have,
Yeah.
delicious.
Oh, you have had black pudding. Oh, okay, fair play. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but
Good.
yeah, it is nice, isn't it? Yeah. A lot of people don't want to know that. Have you had liver?
Yeah, with tomatoes and eggs and a little ham. That's delicious.
Liver and onions over here. Yeah, that's,
There you go.
so that's something. But yeah, again, come on over the pond. Come and run Boston Marathon with me, and we can treat you to all sorts.
Yes, and we cannot wait to celebrate your American homecoming when over Rainforest Cafe
Well,
and volcano desserts. Aww.
Hey.
Oh,
go on,
God,
mate.
God save the Queen.
Thank you. I was going to introduce my name as James Bond, by the way, but I thought that might be a bit too English, so I'll stick with your own name.
So should we have Alistair do the sign out?
I think so.
Yeah. Anything else, J. Crow, you had on your agenda?
No, I'm looking forward to when we're all together at the either running the Boston Marathon and or the Disney place. So we all have that to look forward to. All sincerity, Alistair, that video came to us that you did at a time when I think all of us needed a little spark of joy. And so thank you for sharing that. And I'm so glad that we are connected through this silly channel of ours, and looking forward to more and more contact with you, to the point where you're probably going to start saying, guys, leave me alone. I got a life outside this.
Never going to happen. Never going to happen. Me and my son, we really enjoy watching you guys. So please keep the videos coming. And I can now go and tell them what queso is, because now we don't know.
And with that, Jogger Vlogger, go subscribe. Our new friend Alistair, we're going to give you the highest honor that we can present on this channel of ours, and that's giving you the sign out. So take it away.
Like, subscribe, tell your mum about this.